Hello everybody, my name is Michael, and in today's video what we're going to be doing is this right here. So if that looks exciting to you guys, please carry on and watch the video. Oh, and just one more thing before we go. Please consider like, commenting, and subscribing if you enjoyed the video. But now with all that out of the way, let's carry on with the video. Okay, so just before we get started into painting the actual miniature itself, you can see I've actually built a little bit of a base here, and that's just using a little bit of cork and a bit of vallejo texture paste to get that little ground surface. But once you've got that, and of course with these Wizkids minis, we don't need to prime them because they're already pre-primed, so we can move straight into the painting step. And of course I'm going to start here with weapon bronze, since we're painting up a bronze dragon. You can see I've already started by painting up a little bit in between the wings here, because it's quite a difficult space to get into. I want to show you how sort of a bit of a pain it can be, so you may want to try spreading the wings a little bit. Or as you can see here, I've got a very sort of thin edged brush, so I can really get in there and really get in between those areas. And you can see I'm using a lot bigger brush, so I can get a lot of area in a very small amount of time, because these dragons are quite big, so we can save time on our base coating step just by switching to a slightly bigger brush, because we're not worrying about the details or anything yet. We're just getting that base coat down. Then once we have that base coat down of weapon bronze here, we're going to come in now with some greedy gold, and we're going to use the greedy gold to be highlighting our bronze. So we want to be using this a little bit sparingly, so I'm only very, very lightly going over it, really trying to hit all those raised areas. And you can see I'm using a soft makeup brush to give this dry brushing and really pick out all those details there. It's really good for picking out especially a lot of areas like little scales and things, and it's going to let me have that lighter control over the actual application itself. Then once we've dry brushed those little bits of gold highlights on there, we're going to come in now with some squid pink. And all we're going to be doing with the squid pink is we're just going to be painting the inside of the mouth and the tongue of our bronze dragon. So you can see I've switched to a nice ordinary size brush here, so I can really get into that mouth area and be pretty precise with it. But remember, we're still in those base coating steps, so we don't have to worry about it too much at this point. Then once we have that mouth and tongue painted in, we're going to come in now with some reikland fleshsade, and we're going to be applying this to the whole entirety of our miniature here, including inside the mouth, the wings, literally everywhere. We want to be covering in this reikland fleshsade, and what it's going to do is it's going to really warm up our colors into the actual wash itself, rather than going with a black wash or a brown wash. It's going to really intensify the redness and the bronze and the golds that we've used on here. It's going to really help give it that nice warm appearance that we want to have for our nice bronze dragon miniature here. Then once we have that wash completely dry, we're going to come back in with some greedy gold now, just to touch up a few more of those highlights and give it that little bit more interest. Again, coming back in with our makeup brush so it's nice and soft, and this time I'm being very, very gentle with it. It's only just sort of touching the surfaces, and you can see it's picking up those nice raised edges pretty easily with our makeup brush here. And it's only really catching the highlights because I'm using a very, very fine touch. Then once we have that dry brushing done, we're going to now move on with some khaki. And what we're going to be doing with the khaki color is we're going to be painting all the plates along the belly and the base of the neck for our bronze dragon here. We want to have a little bit of differentiation in color, and I am of course basing this bronze dragon off the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition artwork, so I want to follow that as closely as I can, still adding my own little twist on it, and giving these plates a different color. It's going to have a lot more visual interest to the piece, because it's otherwise going to be very, very just samey all over. And then once we've done that and that's all dry, what we're going to be doing now is we're going to come in with some seraphim sepia. And all we're going to be doing is we're just going to be applying this to the belly scales that we just painted up, making sure that we only get the wash in the areas we want to, especially since this is on the belly. There's a good chance of running off into other places. So switch to a smaller brush if you need to, and really focus in and try and get those specific spots we need for the miniature itself, and try not let it pull up in any unusual places. And then once we've got that complete, what we're going to be doing now is we're going to come in with some skeleton bone. And all we're going to be doing is highlighting the very edges of each of those plates. And it's going to take a little bit of time to do this, but don't be afraid, it's going to really come out and look nice in the end. So I'm just coming in with a nice fine brush, really trying to just catch the edges of the bottom halves of the plates, so it's going to really stand out. And you can see I'm really good at showing you how these techniques work, because I love to cover them up with my thumb, so you've got a really good idea of what's happening. But just be assured, you just want to hit the bottoms of those plates, as you can see here. Then once we have those plates on the bellies all painted up, we're going to come in now with some ivory, and now time for one of the tricky parts of painting any miniature, and of course that's the eyes. And you can see I've got a nice fine tip brush here with just a little bit of ivory on it, and I'm just very lightly dabbing it in, trying to get to that shape I want, and spending that time just move your miniature around in funny angles if you need to, do whatever you need to try and get that eye as close to perfect as you can. Then once we have those eyes painted up, what we're going to be doing now is going to come in with that ivory once more, and we just want to pick out the teeth. So again, a nice delicate operation that we need to do. So make sure you grab a nice fine tip brush and have your hands steadily braced against the miniature, as well as those elbows on the desk, so you move around a lot less while you're trying to paint up these very difficult details. Okay, then once we have that done, time for a nice fun part of the miniature. We're going to come in now with some contrast paint, and we're going to use some warp lightning and some nilakh oxide. And we're going to be mixing them together in a roughly 2 parts warp lightning to 1 part nilakh oxide to try and get the sort of verdigris effect that the bronze dragon has on it. It's very, very cool in the artwork itself, and I want to try and recreate that as much as I possibly can with the colors that I have available, as well as that, since we're using our contrast paints here, we're also still going to get a little bit of that shine and natural color from the bronze we've already applied as well. So we're going to see a lot of that underneath. And then what I'm doing here is I'm just sort of going around the edges of the wing, sort of between the little wing fingers and just the little plates and stuff you can see here. It's very up to you interpretation how you want to do this, but be assured that you want to go over all sides of the wings with this. And then hopefully you should come out with something like this. Then once that's completely done, we're going to come in with some nilakh oxide just by itself here, nothing added into it, and we're just going to be going in on the sort of very close to the areas on the edges and on the insides, and adding in that nilakh oxide to give that different color. And we've got those 2 sort of different colors now of oxidization on the wings, and it's going to add in a lot of visual interest to the piece and really make it stand out on the table, having these different types of colors into the miniature. So it's totally up to you what you want to do here. I'm just sort of trying to follow the official artwork as much as I possibly can. And with that complete and dry, hopefully you've got something like this on your miniature so far. And then we're just going to come in for one little last bit of detail, and that's just come in with any old black that you've got on you, and come pick out all of the claws and spines on our miniature all over the piece. Don't forget along the claws and along the head crest as well. There's a lot of little spines all over the place. And you can see that it's turned into a very nice striking piece with all these different bits of added in detail and mixing those sort of verdigris effects on the wings. It can make it look very similar to how it looks in the official D&D artwork. And with all that complete, we have now finally finished painting up our young bronze dragon from the Dungeons & Dragons Wizkids range. And I think with just a few simple paints, we didn't use a lot of paints in this build, but with just a few paints and some of those nice effects that we had with our contrast paint, we've gotten a really awesome effect off our miniature, and I think it looks pretty close to the official Dungeons & Dragons artwork. So I hope this has been helpful for you guys, whether you want to follow along or you just enjoy me painting up some cool miniatures. And with all that said, guys, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I can't wait to see you all in the next video.